Have you ever wondered what lurks beneath the peaceful facade of Oklahoma? Beneath the expansive skies and the waving wheat fields, a darker narrative is being woven, one that tells of drug trafficking and rampant weapon possession. It's a story that may seem out of place in this land of Route 66 and cowboy culture, but it's as real as the red dirt that stains the soles of our boots. In the heart of the United States, the tranquility of Oklahoma is being challenged by a thriving underworld. An underworld where the illegal trade of drugs and weapons is as commonplace as the state's famous chicken fried steak. Let's talk numbers for a moment. The scale of this issue is staggering. Every year, countless Oklahomans fall prey to the destructive influence of drugs, their lives altered in ways they never could have anticipated. And it's not just the users who are affected. Families are torn apart, communities are ravaged, and the very fabric of society is strained. And then there's the issue of weapon possession. A dangerous cocktail of fear, desperation, and easy access to firearms has led to a surge in weapon possession across the state. From handheld firearms to heavy-duty weapons of war, Oklahoma's underbelly is armed to the teeth. This isn't just a local problem. The ripple effects of these issues extend far beyond the state's borders. From the streets of Oklahoma City to the rural corners of the state, the impact is felt everywhere. The fight against drug trafficking and illegal weapon possession is not just an Oklahoma issue, it's a national crisis. And yet, despite the gravity of the situation, this is a topic that often flies under the radar. It's a conversation that many shy away from, preferring to focus on the state's more palatable attributes. But as we peel back the layers, we reveal an Oklahoma that is far removed from the idyllic images of sunsets and rodeos. As we delve deeper, you'll discover a side of Oklahoma that few dare to acknowledge. We invite you to join us as we expose the underbelly of Oklahoma. It's a journey that will challenge your perceptions and open your eyes to a reality that is often hidden in plain sight. In the heartland of America, a hidden network thrives, a web of secret paths and covert operations, where the commodity is not something as innocuous as corn or wheat, but illegal drugs. The trafficking trails of Oklahoma are as diverse as they are complex, and understanding them is key to grasping the magnitude of the problem we face. Imagine an intricate network of roads, highways, and hidden trails. These are the veins and arteries that feed this illicit industry. Traffickers use a myriad of methods to transport their illicit goods, from clandestine runs in the dead of night to brazen daylight operations hidden in plain sight. The creativity and audacity of these criminals are as astounding as they are alarming. The role of geography in this illicit trade cannot be overstated. Oklahoma, with its central location, is a critical hub in the nationwide network of drug trafficking. Its vast highways, intersecting the state like a spider's web, provide quick and easy access to all corners of the country. The state's rural areas, with their sparse population and expansive landscapes, offer traffickers a degree of anonymity and a convenient cover for their operations. But it's not just the vast landscapes and sprawling highways that make Oklahoma a hotspot for drug trafficking. The state's proximity to the Mexican border also plays a significant role. It provides a relatively straightforward route for drugs coming from Latin America, a region that is a primary source of many of the illegal drugs consumed in the United States. This grim reality of a thriving underground trade is a stark reminder of the challenges we face in combating drug trafficking. The invisible trails of this illicit trade weave their way through our communities, bringing with them a host of social and economic problems. The fight against drug trafficking is not just about law enforcement, it's about understanding the nature of the beast we're up against. These invisible trails paint a grim picture of a thriving underground trade. And as we peel back the layers of this complex issue, we begin to see that the fight against drug trafficking is a fight for the heart and soul of our communities. Beyond the drugs, there is a darker element at play, a chilling underworld of high-grade weaponry that often accompanies the illicit drug trade. This is about the tools of the trade, the deadly instruments that drug traffickers often possess. Imagine powerful firearms, from semi-automatic pistols to high-powered rifles, all capable of delivering a hailstorm of bullets in a matter of seconds. These are not the simple handguns or hunting rifles that you might expect. These are military-grade weapons designed for warfare, and they are in the hands of those who operate outside the law. Now picture large-capacity magazines, silencers, and even armor-piercing ammunition. These are not just tools for self-defense or intimidation, they are instruments of destruction, designed to wreak havoc and command power. The sheer firepower these traffickers hold is a sobering reminder of the deadly seriousness of their operations. But the story doesn't end with the guns. Drug traffickers often possess other tools of violence and intimidation. From sophisticated surveillance equipment to high-speed vehicles and even explosive devices, these tools serve to protect their illicit operations, evade law enforcement, and exert control over their territories. What's more, there's a troubling connection between drug trafficking and arms dealing. In many cases, the same networks used to smuggle drugs are also used to smuggle weapons. It's a symbiotic relationship where the success of one trade helps fuel the other. The profits from selling drugs can easily fund the purchase of firearms, while the power and intimidation provided by these weapons can help secure and expand drug trafficking routes. It's a grim reality, but understanding it is key to combating it. By recognizing the link between drug trafficking and arms dealing, law enforcement agencies can better target their efforts, disrupting these illicit networks and reducing the flow of both drugs and weapons. These weapons of war are a stark reminder of the dangerous power these traffickers wield. They underscore the severity of the drug trafficking issue, highlighting the urgent need for continued efforts to dismantle these criminal networks and keep our communities safe. But what does this mean for those living amidst this clandestine war? We've heard from law enforcement and studied the tools of the trade, but let's now turn our attention to the individuals whose lives are directly impacted by this underground conflict. These are the voices from the front line, the stories that often go unheard amid the cacophony of statistics and headlines. First, we hear from a local educator who voices her concern about the toll this war takes on her students. She shares, "It's not just about the kids using drugs, it's about the ones who live in households where this is the norm. Their innocence is lost. Their focus on education, on dreaming, is shattered." Then, we hear from a former drug user who has managed to claw his way back from the abyss. He reflects, "The drugs, they were my escape, my solace, but they were also my prison. Breaking free was the hardest thing I've ever done." We also hear from a mother who lost her son to the vicious cycle of drug abuse and violence. Through tears, she recounts, "Every day I wake up hoping it's just a nightmare, but the empty chair at the breakfast table, it's a constant reminder of a life lost too soon." The impacts of drug trafficking and weapons possession are not just numbers on a page or items in a news report, they are a stark reality for those at the front line. This clandestine war disrupts communities, breaks families, and shatters lives. It's a war that is fought not just in the dark corners of society, but in the classrooms, in the homes, and on the streets of Oklahoma. These personal narratives serve as a poignant reminder of the human cost of this conflict. They underscore the urgent need for solutions, for interventions that can break the vicious cycle of drug abuse and violence. These personal stories bring a human face to the statistics and headlines. In the midst of this turmoil, certain substances rise to the top. The drug landscape in Oklahoma is dominated by a trio of substances: methamphetamines, opioids, and marijuana. Methamphetamines, often locally produced or smuggled in from neighboring states, are widely used due to their potent, long-lasting effects. Opioids, both prescription and illicit, are a silent epidemic, ensnaring users with their deceptive promise of pain relief. Marijuana, while legal for medical use, is often misused and trafficked illegally. The popularity of these drugs is driven by a complex web of factors. Economic struggles, a lack of mental health resources, and the allure of escape from reality all play a part. The impacts are dire: addiction, health deterioration, and shattered lives. Yet, the demand persists, feeding the cycle of production and trafficking. These substances, so casually consumed, are the fuel that keeps this illicit machine running. As we come to the end of our journey, let's reflect on what we've learned. We've delved into the underbelly of Oklahoma, tracing the intricate web of drug trafficking trails. We've explored the dangerous tools of the trade, weapons of war that have no place on our streets. We've heard the voices from the front line, the stories of lives impacted, and we've understood which drugs are most used in our state. But this knowledge isn't just to be stored away. It's a call to action. We can support initiatives that offer rehabilitation to those trapped in addiction, and education to prevent others from falling into the same trap. We can advocate for stricter regulations on weapon possession and stronger law enforcement against traffickers. Remember, every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the larger fight. While the struggle against drug trafficking and weapon possession continues, Awareness is the first step towards a safer Oklahoma.